Hey, my lovely, wonderful, beautiful people. A pleasant uh, Boxing Day to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. I saw something that moved me. I know it may have started out in a sort of sarcasm, but even if it starts that way, so sorry. So I saw something. It may have, as I said, it may have started out in sardonism or sarcasm, on Rosalee's part, but I think it can be the beginning of something beautiful if intervention is had and enacted. So, Rosalie was on her live. I saw some clippings. Oh, well, when I say clippings, meaning on different platforms. She was on her live and she heard a knock on her door. And it was her mom. Her mom came in and, in a humble manner, said, "Merry Christmas, June. I love you." And Rosalie was kind of saying, "You say Merry Christmas and you tried to lock me up." And she said, "But I didn't report you." And, and then Rosalie probably just said, "You know what? Merry Christmas, mama. Love you too. Love you, babe. Love." And then you better go out and come back in and give her a hug and say, "You're the first one that," her expressions are different, that she basically gave birth to. And when she was outside, Rosalie was listening. She said, "All my kids are nice." Even though it feels very odd to Rosalie and she may not, sometimes it may seemingly not necessarily like it or appreciate it, it still did something to her. It shows the power of positive words, because it at least, even if it is on the basis of pretense for now, she was able to keep quiet and not attack her mom verbally or maybe even physically. She listened in and listened to what her mom. I heard when her mom says, all my children are nice." And him said, no matter, like she said to her, she didn't body shame her. She said, "Even though you're fat, look at your son, Barbar, he's nice." She said that, and she never had to say that part. She could have just eliminated that. And I think that kind of moved Rosalie. It made her feel good, because one of the things that people will appreciate is when you speak highly of their children. you know and she said something, and I think the mother was actually telling the truth, even though she may be the one that will say negative things about her daughter. A parent really does not like when somebody says something negative about them. Have you ever noticed? It's like siblings, and it is so true. You can say something bad to somebody about, "Oh, my brother is this, my sister is this, that," and you name it out. You see, if they begin to say your sister is this, that, and after a while, you're going to become a little bit incensed. You're going to become angry because of the connection that you have with your sibling, even if you're not close. I can tell you as a fact. You understand? So when somebody is pointing it at your child and say, "Oh, you're going to start to say," you probably might find yourself either get quiet, or you're going to say, "Well, him kind of never did do this," or "She kind of never did go that far still." You start to find a little defense for the parent, for the sibling, for whomever it is, once there is a deep connection, especially if it is a relative. It is something that I think God has inbuilt within us. Now, there are quite a number of people who support. They like the brokenness and the broken state of Rosalie and her mother. And a lot of people cannot comprehend the importance of having a healthy mother and a healthy father in one's life. When I listen to my encouragement to Rosalie is this. When I heard the mother said she had her at 15, I think Rosalie said she's 32 or 33 or something of the early 30s. So the mother is on the cusp of 50 years old. That's young. That's a young woman. And when you listen to her speaking, there's some things in her mouth. And I don't know if she has in braces or her teeth are rotting. I can't even tell good, because sometimes the lighting is dark. I know she has in her tongue ring and all of that. And I'm going to make a point with it, because it means if her teeth are rotting and she's talking like this, and if you listen to the words, they're not coherent. They're not And we're not even talking about the English, the grammar, and all of that. That goes without saying. But we're talking about a logical kind of a conversation. You can pick bits and pieces out of it. It tells you that there is some semblance of, I don't like using these words, because, you don't want to become offensive, but I really am not saying it in an offensive manner. I really am not saying it in an offensive manner. There can be some sort of maybe retardation, there is some slowism of the brain. Her emotional intelligence and her intelligence quotient, meaning her knowledge and the ability to apply the knowledge, is very low, very, very low. And when you look at how she's speaking, and it tells you that she couldn't even, she needed somebody to, at 15 years. Let me tell you something. When I was 15, I still acted like a child. I was a child. There's some, even when I was 18, if you saw how I was at 18, you would never even believe that I was 18. You'd probably think I'm 15. You understand what I'm saying? That she's still a child. She needed to be guided. I saw a comment where somebody said there are many 15-year-olds who are great mothers. They got assistance oftentimes in those cases because you're still youthful. You can't force the brain at 15 to behave like somebody 40. It doesn't matter how mature you are. You're not so experienced to behave like somebody 40 or 50. No matter how even hard life may have been for you. Because you're still in the developing stage at that age. You're still in the developing stage. And when I listened to the mother, she could not in any way, shape, or form raise Rosalee or any child. Not just her, any child. She really could not. And then when other children come and compound the problem, and even if she's around them, she would not be a healthy mother. And that is why when Rosalee said she would come for 2 months and she was not altogether here. Maybe she went, maybe she kept leaving because she's gone. That could have been a possibility. Maybe she's on medication, and it's kept hush. You don't know. And I'm saying all of that to say this, dear Rosalee. Resentment is something that it never ends. If you don't put a stop to it, it builds and becomes bitterness, and it becomes hardness. That is where you don't want to get. It doesn't move because of the years of trauma, the years of abuse, and so on. And abuse doesn't only mean somebody has to beat upon you. It means the neglect, the ostracization, that's abuse. It's abuse to what you ought to get as a child. And the only way to combat it is just actually saying, you have to put yourself in the position. There's no other formula really. You have to just decide that I am not going to hate on her. It makes no sense because hate eats away at the bones. Unforgiveness eats away at the bones. A lady was sick for an entire year because she had unforgiveness, and God had to reveal it to her. When he did and she decided to let it go, her entire body was healed because the doctors couldn't help her. She didn't know what was wrong. And I've oftentimes heard that. You have to just tell yourself, I feel a feeling of resentment, I feel a feeling of bitterness, anger, hate, malice, all of this, but I'm going to let it go. I'm going to by my actions, I'm going to do good. Don't wait on the feelings. They won't come necessarily right away. I remember a pastor was talking about, and a counselor of a family, chaotic too, very chaotic, disjointed, whatnot. And the only formula he could give them was something physical, literally, you just have to do it. And he said, every day you're going to tell each other, I love you, and hug each other. And they said, but it's awkward. We're not used to it. He said, I know it's awkward. It feels uncomfortable, but you're going to do the uncomfortable. For 1 month, you're going to do it every single day. Leave no day out. Please follow my advice. And they did. After that month, they came to the pastor and said, if a day passes after that and we don't hug each other, it feels uncomfortable. They became used to it and they didn't even realize today they're a happy family. Is it devoid of problems? No. You sometimes have to just come with a boulder and make that decision, but you also have to appreciate where your mom is at. She needs a lot of help, even you, but I pray that God will bless you as a family so that healing can come to your soul. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me one of those lines, and follow me on Instagram.